Yo, 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 welcome back to the Further Your Lifestyle podcast, conversations on lifestyle, passions, and hustles. My name's Chris, I'm your host, and I'm super excited to be back here having the conversation with you. Episode 161 today, and the first thing I want to say off the bat is a big thank you to you. Whether you've been here watching on the YouTube since I moved across to the channel, or if you've been here since day one from the audio episodes that we had originally just going out on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or all the great places, I really, really do appreciate you. Even if you've been here for one episode, it means the absolute world to me. Now, if you're new here, the best thing that you can do for me is hit subscribe or hit like or leave a comment or just become part of the conversation. Get involved, reach out to me, or share this episode with someone. Today's topic, we're actually diving into you're not falling behind in life. And this one resonated with me. I was just every so often I try to scale the internet and find a few different things that prompts me for inspiration and ideas around how we can find different perspectives on furthering our lifestyles. And for me, I always try and find something that's relevant for me, because a lot of the time me sharing with you, like these episodes, is me sharing with you things that I'm dealing with, things that I'm going through as I'm trying to further my own lifestyle. And something for me is sometimes I've struggled with it in the past, and I've done numerous episodes on it, is sometimes whether it's the imposter syndrome or the doubt, or maybe you feel like maybe you're not where you're meant to be or falling behind. And I've also spoken to a few other people that have been dealing with this kind of situation as well. You can't compare yourself to someone who's miles ahead of you, but we tend to do it anyway. And that's really what I wanted to address today. So I found these points, and I've kind of, paraphrased them a bit so it's not taking it from anyone else. And I'm going to read them out to you. Basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different points around you are not falling behind in life, but etc, etc, etc. So we're going to get into that in a minute. I'm going to roll the intro and then we're going to get into it. Let's do it. So these different things, they might resonate with you, they might not. All of them might, some might. That's up to you. The point here is that I've taken this to try and get a different perspective. As I said before, I'm going to read them out to you, then we're going to talk about some of the common themes and some of the different patterns that I've found in them. And then I'll probably dive in a little bit deeper in terms of some additions of maybe a bit more understanding in case you didn't really get it, maybe with some down-to-earth analogies and things like that. So, and I've used ChatGPT to really help synthesize this information that I've gathered and put the notes together and then put it back in a way that I can read it and understand it in a presentable way as I have the conversation with you. And that's what I love to be able to do, because, as much as I would love to have more guests, this has been the best way to be able to continue to bring what I believe is the most important thing for you guys in helping you achieve and further your own lifestyle. So number 1, you are not falling behind in life. You are figuring out what truly matters to you. Number 2, you are not falling behind in life, you are building a foundation of future success. Number 3, you are not falling behind in life, you are mastering patience for greater things. Number 4, you are not falling behind in life, you are running your own race at your own pace. Love that one. Number 5, you are not falling behind in life, you are experiencing life. And number 6, you are not falling behind in life, you are falling into life. So these can be very deep. If you really want to take the time and really dive into them, which we're going to, they are deep. But there's some common themes here, right? There's a lot of patterns or themes around, I guess it's self-discovery or personal growth, which, I think we're all on and we all need to be on. There's the common thread of persistence and building a strong foundation of who we are, what we want, and the life that we want to create, and figuring that out. There's the theme of patience and trusting the process. Sometimes things just take time and we got to trust the process. Then there's the theme of individuality and avoiding the comparison, which I just spoke about before. I've struggled with that in the past as well. There's embracing life's journey and its experiences. Look, life throws so many different things at us. And sometimes it's really hard to figure out, what do we do with it? How do we juggle it all? And then the 6th one is, another theme is embracing uncertainty and the unknown. We don't know what tomorrow brings. We can plan for it. And I recently had a situation where last week I wanted to get ahead. I'd been away from the business. I was so excited to get in early, do all these different things. And then I had a car accident. It wasn't my fault. Someone ran into the back of me, and it actually, it changed the whole week. It actually meant I had less time to do what I wanted to do this week. But these things happen. That's life. So we need to take that into account. So if we look at these in a bit more of an additional point perspective, and this isn't going to be a long episode, this is really going to be sharp and to the point. Self-discovery, right? When we think about self-discovery, really through our own doing of understanding who we are and the passions that we love. For me, I think I have grown the most I've ever grown before as an individual, working for myself and taking a chance on me, 4 years ago, than when I was working for a consulting company for 8 years. That was, that helped me grow to a certain point. It grew me to the point where I was confident enough to take the risk and be willing to then go try something on my own. But because now I've had to go through this journey of figuring out everything for myself, there's been a big component of self-discovery. For me, the running is that self-discovery, but really it's, finding your passion, your purpose, your thing through the exploration of doing stuff. And that might be from doing hobbies and passions and things, right? Number two is building a foundation. We're talking about the themes here. Building a foundation. I think as we go through life, and we're going to get into some of the different details of those different falling behind in life points, but building a foundation is absolutely crucial because having a baseline, having a routine, having something that you can fall back onto enables you to relax. It means that you're able to get back to baseline conditioning. And it means that you can from there then springboard up. What I mean by that is, for me, routine junkie, I have a flow, I have a system, I have a process, I have a routine that I have for the week. So if things aren't going well, there's always something to fall back on, whether it's nacho night, whether it's, Monday nights is a certain thing, or I know that these days I do my running, or these days I like to play video games, whatever it is, finding that way to be able to have a foundation. And this also comes back to then, as we want to springboard into greater things, you need to have done the reps to be able to make that springboarding so much easier. The next one is then mastering patience. This theme of mastering patience, it means that we have to find ways to do that. For me, again, being able to pull together my thoughts, understand them, break them down is when I get to do that while I'm running. Finding that for yourself, it might mean you're having to, do some mindfulness. You might have to do some meditation. You might have to find some individual time and find ways that you can then take that to then apply it to everything else that you're doing. Because things will get challenging. Things will be a challenge. Things will be tough and rough. And you got to figure out how to ride through those with a lot of patience. Number 4 was running your own race. This theme of running your own race. I mean, I can talk about this for days. I mean, I run as a hobby, as a passion, and that is because it helps me become a better version of myself. And this is the same for when we're doing anything else in life. You can't expect that you're just going to be able to get out there and run a marathon tomorrow. You've got to build up to it, but it's going to take the time that it requires for you to get to it. For some, it might mean that they could literally get up and just go do it because that's the type of person they are. But for some of us, it might mean training 20 weeks. You've got to run your own race. There's nothing else you can do about it. Number 5 was experiencing life. Look, experiencing life comes in all shapes and forms. I can only share what I've done because that's all I've done. I've worked the 9 to 5. I graduated from university. I've ran my own business. I've had multiple businesses. I do a lot of running. I've got the podcast. I do YouTube. I've done a bit of veggie gardening. I've raised chickens before. I have a passion for animals. I love, all these different things. I collect Pokemon cards. All these weird and wonderful things. But that's me, right? And that's how I've experienced life. My family, my loved ones, it's my life. So how you go about experiencing your life is going to be a different experience for me. Some of us have gone through really tough journeys to get to, blossoming to a flower afterwards. Or maybe you're still going through a tough time. But that's just part of the life experience. It's not the end of it yet. And the last theme was then falling into life, or, in this uncertainty of the unknown. I guess there's 2 ways we can look at this. Sometimes we can be excited for, we don't know what's going to happen. It's exciting. It's a mystery box. But it can be scary also to think what's going to happen. The best way to deal with this is focus on what you can control. That is the best thing you can do. So coming back to the points around you are not falling behind in life, there was the 6 key ones, right? And the first one was figuring out what matters, right? You're not falling behind in life. You're just trying to figure out what matters. And this one is, I guess, an analogy that we could look at it from is, imagine life is as a treasure hunt where each setback is like finding clues that bring you closer to the treasure. As you experience life, as you figure out things, you're going to learn what you like. You're going to learn what you love. You're going to learn what your passion is. And then you can double down on it. And then it's going to get you closer to that treasure, to that excitement, to that experience, to that passion, to that joy, and to that purpose. When it comes to building a foundation, we've got to think of this like building a house or building something which is, you're going to live in, or you're going to put something in. Every setback is like adding a brick. And by doing that, you're making the foundation stronger. Sometimes it might mean that we have a goal to do something within 1 year. Maybe you have some setbacks. Maybe it takes you 3 years. Is that necessarily bad? That those 3 years of you developing resilience, strength, understanding, knowledge, experience, how to deal with situations is going to make the next 3 easier. Like, it's not going to be as hard because now you know how to do things. You know how to handle things. You have a foundation. You have something to fall back onto if you needed to start from zero again. Mastering patience. You're not falling behind in life. You're just mastering patience for greater things. Picture life as like what's a good way of looking at it? Like a garden of sorts, right? And when we have a garden, we plant the seeds. We have to care for the seeds. We have to water them, but they need time to grow. And this is the same for our dreams and aspirations. Obviously we've got to do the work. We've got to put in the action. It's not passive like a flower. But you need to care for it. You need to provide nutrients, water. Sometimes it might require pruning. It's the same for us. Our dreams and aspirations require feeding, watering, pruning, support, love, care, all these different things. When it comes to running our own race, and I think this analogy will be exactly the same as what I said before. Consider life as a marathon. That's the journey, right? It's a marathon journey where everyone is running their own race. There's always going to be these front forerunners, like the ones that are just absolute elites doing like 2 minutes 17 splits. It just blows my mind how people do that. For me, I think my fastest marathon I averaged, it must have been about a 6:44 pace. Did it 4 hours and 44 minutes. Nothing crazy, but it's average. It's good. It's not bad. That's me, and that's okay. Number 5 was, you're not falling behind life. When it comes to experiencing life, we need to think of it like a storybook, filled with adventures, filled with lessons, and filled with things waiting to be discovered. How good is it when you read a book and it's so exciting, you just don't know what's going to be on the next page as you turn, and you want to know what's going to happen because you want to learn, you want to discover, you want to experience it. That's life. Take that approach to life. And the last one was falling into life, right? Embracing that uncertainty. And you're not falling behind, you're just falling into life. And I guess a good analogy to this would be like the roller coaster rides. There's going to be those unexpected twists and turns, and it's going to make the journey exciting, scary, maybe full of fear and worry at some points. But it's going to be worthwhile in the end because you're going to come out and you have realized that the ups and downs is what made it enjoyable. Because if it was just the same always, 1, you wouldn't have learned anything. 2, you probably would have become bored. And 3, it doesn't have a story as much, right? Look, I want to encourage you, we're going to finish it up here, but when we can reframe our perspectives on the setbacks or the challenges that we have, and we can start, when we start to see them as maybe opportunities or perspectives for growth or opportunities for growth, or a way to find more self-discovery, that's when life will become that beautiful adventure that we want it to be, or that we hear about in movies or read in books, and, the cliche of it all. But the reality is, life is filled and full of ups and downs. I've been around for 32 years and I've had my fair share, and I'll have plenty more. But every experience contributes to your unique story, my unique story, everyone's unique story. So live life. Understand that you're not falling behind. You're just taking your time. You're doing it your way. You're figuring it out. You're building. You're experiencing. But most of all, my challenge to you is just make sure you're happy about it. If you're not happy about it, change something. Do something about it. Talk to someone. If you're compromising your happiness for someone else's happiness, it's not good. It's not good. find a way that you can take back control of your own happiness and take control of your life. That's it from me today, folks. If this resonated with you, please, as I said at the start, share it with someone. Let them know. Or maybe there's a point here that is really relevant for you. What was it? Drop me a message or send me a comment on YouTube down below in the comment section. Let me know. Would really appreciate to hear from you. It means the absolute world to me. And look, if maybe you've made it this far, if you have made it this far, you're the type of person I want to be asking this next question. If you enjoy these episodes and you would like to be part of the podcast sponsorship group, which is basically people that they pay a monthly fee and they help keep the lights on for the channel. It helps bring me a little bit more income just to be able to put things back into the channel. Some of that is used for other giveaways and things that I do on the channel, but it also helps me work towards maybe some bigger goals. And there is some equipment and stuff that I want to save up for the podcast. And it really just helps support me as a creator and as someone doing this podcast. You don't have to do it. It's purely just there if you would like to support. If that's what you would like to do, you can also choose to be a coffee club member or a Pokemon member as well if you do want to support the channel. But I'll leave that with you. No pressure to do so. I appreciate you being here. You have a wonderful day. Cheers.